Major difference between high school and college? It's fucking Columbus Day, and I'm waking up at 6:30 to go to a 3-hour class where I learn how to do basic things with Microsoft Word. So happy Columbus Day, everybody. So it's been the first week. I'm really pumped about this project. My widow's peak is getting ridiculous. I was really excited to see everyone's vlogs this week. At the time I'm recording this, I've actually only seen 2, I think. Sorry, I'll get to those. Katie, I apologize if anything I put in my last video made you feel like having a long video, like over 7 minutes, was a bad thing, because I watched all of your 11-minute video and I enjoyed like every minute of it. Catherine, it's awesome that you're not in Calaveras. I didn't even consider that when I was making fun of the fact that you would be doing a vlog from where we're all from. I hope the Dakotas / Idaho and others are going well. I would like to take this time to formally apologize for being in a hole. I want to let you know that you're one of my good friends and that I appreciate you for your video editing abilities and your touring the Great Northwest abilities and for your taking joking criticisms humorously and well abilities. You can be an atheist if you want. If you hadn't heard, Steve Jobs finally slipped into the great unknown. Why did I say finally? That's terrible. It's been a rough year for inventors. I'm sure most of you probably haven't heard about some of the other people who have died recently, who revolutionized life. A few months ago, the guy who invented the weed whacker died. The guy who invented Doritos died just really recently. There's someone else who I'm trying to remember who just died. The pacemaker inventor died recently. That sucks. Enough death. On a lighter note, this week was my dad's birthday. He turned 50. He has 3 kidneys. Maybe that's why. All of those things, considering them all together, really made me want to take a look at some of the quotes of Steve Jobs speaking at Stanford, but I don't have it in front of me, so I can't. But it's really inspirational, is the point. Blink-182 was awesome. It could have been awesomer if we weren't in the nosebleeds, but sometimes you just have to be at the very, very top, close enough that you can actually touch the dome of the Honda Center seats before you can appreciate. It's just like, it's the life and death thing. You can't have one without having the other. It makes you appreciate being in the pit all the much more. That's why I'm hoping it's going to be a lot better when / if I go to see the Wonder Years in November, barring several of my financial transactions shift their flow. One of said transactions was the purchase of the Flip Minnow HD. It's one of those tiny, it looks like, it's smaller than like a still picture camera, but it takes video. That could make this vlog a lot more interesting. Many of you, including my parents, if they watch, are probably grasping your cheeks in terror, just like Macaulay Culkin right now, saying, Ian, how could you go out and pay 50 approximate after shipping and handling American dollars for a camera? You're a poor college student. You can only afford to eat Chef Boyardee cups. To which I say, I can't afford not to buy this camera. 44 American dollars. Do you know what that gets me in this case? On that one day when it was discounted at Woot.com, that's right, Woot, $44 out of the next lowest discount existing anywhere on the internet for used cameras for $80. The camera, which new retail from the company, Flip Minnow HD 3rd generation, would cost $150. I contend that I actually saved money. In truth, for the rest of the month, I will be forced to eat almost nothing. But do you know what I will be able to do in the next 5 to 10 business days? Everything I haven't been able to do in the last 5 to 10 business days. Not but 2 days ago, I was with Samantha Bobby Elsie in a shopping center and was unable to film anywhere. The crazy antics that occurred, except in the subway, although I managed to catch none of the antics. Consortium of the Six, I contend that with this camera, I would be able to not only do all the things I could do with my old camera, which sadly does not work with my laptop, but so much more. The camera is actually smaller than your typical still picture point and shoot camera, and it shoots HD video. That's only kind of true. HD means a lot of things. But the point is, it doesn't take any tapes, and it can record up to an hour, I think. It's made for exactly what I'm doing here. The only way this camera could be better suited to what I'm doing is if I purchased its competitor made by Sony's Bloggy camera, or if I was buying this camera to shoot my little if I was buying this camera to film my son at his soccer game. The tour of my room will become infinitely easier. I'll be able to film in so many exciting places. Well, I would be able to if I lived somewhere exciting, but I'll be able to film so much of Riverside. Our many drug-ridden parks, our river, which I heard exists. I'll be able to film the liquor store where the kids in my hall tried to convince me to buy Smirnoff for them because apparently I'm the one who looks like the oldest out of everyone in the hall. That, I guess, is when I'm not wearing a Flash sweatshirt that has grown to be ridiculously small on me. On the one hand, no one has ever accused me of being so fast that I appear to be nothing but a crimson blur. And also because this sweatshirt itself makes me look like I'm the Incredible Hulk, when clearly I'm much more of a Bruce Banner. I would have been able to have filmed the completely unplanned and happenstance happening that was me running into Melissa the Doppelganger today in the laundry room. It lasted about 5 seconds. I thought, I need to capture this girl Native American style. What? I need to capture this girl's image on some sort of camera device so that I can give it to everyone else to compare notes. Big Trouble in Little China is possibly the most campy, quotable movie ever. Part of my declaration for that may have been that I was watching it after trying to spend 5 hours getting asleep and failing, and then watching it until 2 in the morning. Having said that, I will probably try to work in son of a bitch must pay and we're gonna need Cracker Jack timing into almost everyday conversation until I die. It's 1:23 a.m. Perry Tanner. Also, apologies to everyone, I guess, on making something that sounded like a challenge. I guess I did kind of say that it was a quasi-challenge afterwards, but I did not expect anyone to take it as a challenge. I meant it as something that I'd like to see throughout the course of however long we end up making this vlog, which I hope is forever. I'm not gonna lie, I hope this lasts forever. In response to some questions that have been raised, very appropriate questions also, because no one has answered them, and we just kind of assumed that they would work out already. Concerning challenges and the way that the structure of this vlog is going to work, Samantha, Bobby, Elsie, and I discussed the other day not to necessarily discount Melissa's suggestion on the comments in our Facebook group, which I think is a very interesting idea, but I'm just going to throw out what Samantha, I think, thinks. If I remember correctly, we decided that challenges should be pretty lax in their rules in the sense that you could challenge in any way you really wanted to. And the reason I like this rule is because it could facilitate a situation the same as Melissa's point. So for instance, I could say this is a challenge for everyone, just as like a general theme for all of your videos. I want to see, for instance, incorporate where you are or where you live and the way things look, which I guess was the unofficial challenge of the first week. Sorry everyone if I stepped on your toes. But it could also lead to things like if I had a specific challenge for one person. And there doesn't have to always be challenges. So that way, if I had a challenge for an individual person, I could just as easily go ahead and say, Schmoopy. Schmoopy is the fictional 7th Beatle in this situation. Schmoopy, I challenge you to come up with a better name for yourself, because your name is terrible. Schmoopy's the only one with a stupid name in this situation. I don't want to give that challenge to everyone, because then everyone will have to change their name, and I'll have to remember 6 new names. I personally like a lot of things about this approach, because it allows for a lot more subtleties, and that's kind of subjective, but between the 6 of us, I think all of us being true to ourselves will kind of keep ourselves in check. Also, we decided that challenges should be optional to the extent that you can accept or deny a challenge. And I would prefer it if, everyone did challenges more than they decided not to do challenges. What I think will happen instead, or should happen, is that we won't try to challenge each other to do things that are just so ridiculous that the other person will be forced not to do it and step down from it because it's just too much work or whatever. And also, the person being challenged will, challenge themselves to actually do the challenges. And then hopefully we'll get into this cool symbiotic relationship where everyone is trying to come up with good challenges that are better for everyone, and then the people are trying to do the challenges to make themselves better, even if, they are busy or, or they're having a bad day, because it'll make them feel better. The unfortunate side effect to that, in my mind, is that I don't know how to square that with how I would want to do punishments. We are making things better.